Hi Craig, how are you?
Oh, hello again.
Yes, hello. So now before we start, I'm going to give an introduction to the workshop Bangalore.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm going to start now. Hi and welcome back to God of Onions podcast. I'm your host Hiral Mehta, the founder of God of Onions, as well as the owner of House of Hira, where we create and sell lifestyle products and art. On our last episode, we had Hetal Shukla, a very well-known conceptual artist, where you all must have seen Kala Goda festival, where you all must have seen the Gadi with coins or the Lal Gadi. So we had interviewed him last time, and today we have Craig DeMello, the Chief Creative Officer at the Workshop Bangalore, and as well as the co-founder. The Think Happy Everyday Workshop is a creative space for all the artists should know about. So welcome, Craig.
Super. Thanks for having me.
Great, great. So your space is very unique. I think from the first time when I'd spoken to you, I was very intrigued about your space. I'm sure when I'm going to be coming to Bangalore, I'm going to surely going to see your space and I'm going to come to your space because it's so different and unique. So I think even Shiloh Shiv Suleiman, she must have come to your space, right?
Yeah, we do some work with Shiloh. We help her build some installations, and she's used our space to build out some of her ideas as well
Wow.
when she is in Bangalore.
Wow, that's amazing. That's quite interesting, inspiring, and it's very nice. So I think I'm going to start with my questions, which I'm going to be asking you. So my first question is, how do you promote creativity and innovation simultaneously?
Uh, we started with the simple idea of why the workshop exists, and it came about with the philosophy. Why live in a world where we make do with things when you can make and do things? And that allowed us to have this kind of space where we were not concentrating on necessarily on the next best innovation, but it started with the simple idea of there are things that we make do with, and there are things that we can make and do, and that almost starts with creativity, because we believe everybody is creative. I mean, everybody has a creative spark, and whether it's cooking or hobbies or work or um, accounts, I mean, everybody has a creative streak that they can nurture. And innovation is the ability to have a space where you can take those ideas and maybe break them down. I would say make mistakes safely, so it allows innovation to happen, and you can innovate. So, and it goes hand in hand. It's nothing that we've done. It essentially is a precursor to the next. So, if there's creativity and you're going to move forward, whether you're solving problems creatively, you're going to be innovating some product or some idea or some experience and augmenting that, and probably making better.
Interesting, interesting. And that's what the workshop is about.
Yeah, that's why it
Amazing.
exists.
Yes, amazing, amazing. So, my next question is, what are some ways to promote creativity using materials such as metal or cement to artists on a budget?
Uh, and this has quite a few constraints there. So you have artists on a budget already, and we have a few materials that we're talking about. But
Yes.
if we the process of art itself is a very creative process, and if we apply materiality to design, what we're doing is we're exploring. We see cement all around us as an example. I mean, it's all around. It's something that you don't presume is seemingly creative until you see the scale of the buildings and the architecture that's around us, which is completely based on material. And the same with metal and cement actually work together at scales that are, I would say, urban. They've redefined the urban. So you have cement, steel, glass. These are three materials that have actually redefined what we look at in the everyday world. And if
Wow.
we just take them down in scale and you look at them at different scales, it allows you to do different things with them. So if we look at metal, right, from jewelry making, which is brilliant craftsmanship with the artisans in India as well, especially in India. I mean, jewelry is really something that has come out from the land. And you scale down cement, you can do so many other things with it, and it's not just about doing one thing right now, which is what we are looking at it as a construction tool. You know, metal is used for construction, and cement is used for construction. But can cement be used for art? Can cement be used for furniture? Can cement be used for home decor? And these are extrapolations which is up to the people to come and explore. So we just facilitate that. We facilitate a certain technique with our workshops. So we have a few workshops where you can explore basic skills, so you can get started and then probably YouTube your way through the rest of the processes, because there's so much you can gather information from, and there's so many sources, and you have a space where you can come and test these ideas out. So the scope is actually limitless with what we recently did. Cement lamps, which were really beautiful. So it's cement casting for lamps. We've done metal work where we had uh, everything from build a giant pair of lungs, which required metal frame working to be done, which was done by an artist initially, right up to people building out small little wood metal coffee tables of their own design, or something they've seen on Pinterest or Instagram and are trying to replicate that, which we see is wonderful that people can do that.
Wow, 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 wow. So that's quite interesting, where you can actually experiment a lot of things from cement to metals at your space, where your space making creativity, whatever you imagine into something which you can see. So I think that's very beautiful. So yes. Uh, so I'll ask my next question. My next question is, what motivates you to select a project?
Uh, Sometimes the projects just literally walk in through the door. So we're not out there necessarily selecting projects, which if we've done multiple installation builds. So we also run an ad agency and an architecture firm, and the
Okay.
workshop is almost our play space and our research initiative. So we build out installations for different experiences at the workshop itself. So some of them are for our clients, most of them are for clients, and occasionally when we do have the funds to build out something, or there's something community driven. uh, an example would be, we did a Christmas tree 5 years ago for a church, and they wanted us to create an experience or a really cool Christmas tree. So we started with the, should we do something recycled? How do we break this idea down? And we came about with the thought that the best gift at Christmas is time, spending time with someone. And we trained the youth group of that church in woodworking, and we helped them with the design. So they made a design of a tree. And we helped them create a PVC pipe organ. So we did a 3-octave PVC pipe organ, and they looked like joss sticks around the tree. And the tree had some asparagus ferns with it. And people learned a bit of electronics, so they interacted with each other. So sometimes we don't necessarily select a project. The project walks in, and then it evolves, So yeah, we're open for commissions, and we build installations. We've done work with multiple corporates, multiple clients, colleges. We run workshops where we can come train you. We run experiences for corporates where they can build something together. So it just depends on what people are looking for, and when they decide to think happy every day and they want to make and do something, they somehow find us.
Wow. I think just the way I found you all. Yeah, that's amazing. So my next question is, how do you connect to the project you are working on? How do you balance concept and motive?
Oh, cool. Concept and motive. Okay. It, it kind of is linked because our concepts stem from a brief or some kind of situation or experience we're trying to create, and it it is a step up. So it's a gradual step up. So we start with maybe we want to talk about air pollution, and then how can we talk about air pollution? And then we say, oh, okay, let's build a large billboard with giant lungs on it. And yeah, so it follows a kind of systematic pattern, strangely. So it's not just serendipity of ideas where we're just building because we can. Of course, we can do that. Like I built a swing for my daughter the other day, and I was so happy that I could do that. It was a
Wow.
small. It's just a plank with like few holes there, and we tied some ropes and tied it to a mango tree. But I could build it, and the ability to be able to do that is where motive and concept kind of, you want to do something nice for someone, you can go build it, so we don't necessarily have much to do with that, because we've had people come in, and there was a lady who wanted to gift her husband the day of making, not because he's not made before, but because she thought it was a fun way for them to spend time together and do something different. And they spent time together, they made something, and they designed something together, they built something besides the house and the life that they built, of course, but they built
Interesting.
something small. And it was motive enough for them to come up with a concept, so that's
Interesting.
essentially that's our take on how they follow each other. And maybe it could be vice versa, you have a concept, and but I think it's mostly you want to do something, and then you start to think of concepts or build concepts around that, and then you find the places where you can build out these ideas, or whether they are tangible or intangible, so it just depends.
Amazing, amazing. That's very beautiful. Wow. I think that's something completely very niche and new about the workshop. And I think it's one of a kind in India for sure. So that's very interesting. So my next question is, uh, what experiments have you tried using new mediums and how did it go?
5 years ago, we when we set up 6 years ago, almost, I think it was 6 years, in 2015. Yeah, that's 6 years now. We There was the Maker Fair in Bangalore, and we built out an installation called Synesthesia, which was a large metallic structure, computationally designed. It was the first time we were building out an installation like that. It was our first installation that we built out, and it had sensors in it, and it had like over 600 LEDs, programmable LEDs, that kind of reacted to when you moved around the installation. It was ethereal, it was blue, and it was like almost neonish. And we enclosed it in a dark room, and it had a soundscape that varied as you interact with the installation. The reactions to that, when we were at Maker Fair, we had more than a few people come in and ask us, what is the purpose of this installation? And it was an experiment to see how you react with a malleable substance. Do you touch it? How do you react? So it's synesthesia, one act inspires another, so it was based on, would one sense being triggered inspire you to do something else with another sense? So would you touch what you hear, and would you move around with what you see? So would you play with it? Would you interact with it? Would you interact with a structure that was interacting with you? And while the children really enjoyed the installation, they seemed to be the most free. So they didn't have any
Yes.
preconceived notions of what we should be doing with the structure, or what the
Yes.
structure needs to be doing with us. So it became an
Yes.
experience, and that allowed us to gave us a not allowed us it gave us a glimpse of how people react with things that are fairly new. in their scope of experience. So some people need to have a purpose. They're like, why is this installation here? Do these lights do anything for me? And we had to just cite the example of sometimes you just if you're in Paris and you're sitting around the Eiffel Tower, I mean, it's not necessarily doing anything for you if you're just watching the lights go off or you see fireworks in the sky. And it's the ability of the emotional connect, maybe whatever chemicals they're releasing, and the joy that you get, the experience that you have, the curiosity that you explore. And that was our first experiment, actually. So it was multi-material build. It was a sensorial, interactive installation, and yeah, it was quite a large one. It was huge.
Wow.
It was almost like it was, I think, like 300 kilos of metal, maybe.
Wow,
So-
wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Wow. I think I have seen that metal. Is it the one with the elephant one which you had
No, it's a blue color on our main website, which is the
Okay.
hyphen website.in. It's the first picture
Yes.
there. It's a blue color neon. It looks like little neon tubes that are
Wow.
all around, and each of them were strung with an LED, and the whole installation kind of reacted as you moved around it. So if you had a crowd of people crowd around the installation, it reacted differently. It lit up
Amazing.
differently.
I think
It-
it's the
it-
front, it's the first image on the page which I can
Yeah,
see.
it
It's
is.
the
It is
neonish
probably.
red, blue. Wow, it's
It's
beautiful.
only blue. It's only blue. It's the one that's only blue. I can probably send
Okay.
it to you.
Sure. Amazing. Okay, great. So, my next question is, uh, what advice do you have for all people, not only artists, to create more sustainability?
Um, like sustainability and sustainable creation, we shouldn't like follow the greenwash where we're just like saying it for the sake of saying it. But it depends on how you build the idea, what it's being built for. So some of our builds, we've tried to reuse material, like the Christmas tree, which I talked about, was completely
Interesting.
dismantleable, and the materials could be resold or reused for other purposes. So it just depends on what you're creating, and sometimes art is an absolute indulgence. So putting you know, if we are trying to create sustainable work, there was an artist who made a complete furniture line of cane, and you use cane. So they were doing cane prosthetics, and then they had an exhibition with this larger than life, very exotic, I would say, for furniture pieces that were made. They were huge. They were like cane chandeliers that were bamboo, not bamboo, like bamboo chandeliers that were 10 to 12 feet wide, and so it just depends on what you're doing. So the advice is go out there and do stuff and keep doing stuff. And if you can save the planet while you're at it, and you can have concern for communities, and you can have concern for how you're using energy and where you're using energy, and yeah, you think about that, and then you formulate your plan, and hopefully you can build out something that's relevantly cool and sustainable.
Amazing. My last question now. How do you promote creative environment in your workshop?
uh, we leave the walls blank. So we don't have any graffiti. We don't have any unnecessary posters unless it's something to do with safety, which we've kept very basic as a little printout. And we leave the walls blank, like blank canvas. And we hope that people can come fill it up with their ideas and things that they want to do.
Wow, that's very interesting. That's very intriguing for an artist like me. I am basically from Mumbai. And when I'm going to come to Bangalore next, I'm surely going to visit your space. And yes, Tilika, that's a good idea. So, guys, would you all have any questions for Craig? Hello. I think the videos generally in lives they go a little slow. So until people type the questions, it goes very slow. So
No
we can just
worries. Yeah, but I'm from Bombay too, so at the end, our space was.
You're from Bombay too? Okay.
Yes, yeah, yeah. So I studied at Xavier's. I was in school. I played football there. I was in three schools on Bosco's, Don Bosco, and St. Anne's.
Oh
It was
wow.
fun. Yeah, so Bombay was super fun.
So what made you come to Bangalore?
Uh, I came here for the love of my life
Oh,
and
how
stayed.
sweet. Yeah.
So yeah, and that's actually it's her workshop. The workshop was Anna's idea. In fact, we were in London, and she had come back from the Institute of Making, and I was there working as a copywriter as well. And yeah, she came home one day, and we were coming back to India. So we were going to start Think Happy Every Day, which is THE, which is the. And she said that, if I had a workshop like the one we have here in London back in India when I was studying, the things that I would have made and done. And I was like, okay, cool. That's pretty cool. And then she said, when we go back, I want to start a workshop. And I was like, okay, cool, let's do that. And since I'm a brand guy, I asked her, what would you like to call the workshop? And she's like, workshop. So we were like, okay, so we have let's Think Happy Every Day, and your workshop. So it's the workshop, and it kind of fit. And when we came back, there was this massive maker movement happening, which is kind of still going on in its own way. It's a lot more schools have taken up the mandate of making and design education, and they're thinking about. So we've run workshops with some of the best schools around, I would say, the country. And we've done immersive workshops with them, where we work with students to learn experientially, and also get hands-on with tools and build out. It's not a hackathon where they're building out ideas for a startup, but it's just exploring the nature of being. So there is confidence. There's so many things that it can tackle. So um, yeah, that's how the workshop has been about and how it started.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. That's completely interesting. Wow, the way you all have come up with it.
Yeah,
Wow.
it
Really
was
sweet.
actually just a need, since she's an architect, and she says there's this gap between digital fabrication and digital design, and computational design and making. And there's so many gaps right now in the country which need to be filled so that people can build out bigger, build out better, build out sharper ideas. And our space
Wow.
is just one space, and we're not funded. It's all self-funded, which is quite it takes quite a bit out on us. So yeah, people, please come to the workshop and make something. Call us for a
That's
commission, or call us for workshops when the lockdowns start to open, and we can probably be in the same space together and build stuff.
wow.
But
Wow.
yeah, so it is a journey, and we've seen everyone from like a variety, right from an 8-year-old build stuff at our space to I think the oldest person that came in was 65-year-old or 70, just under 70. It was a grandmom who came in with her granddaughters, and
Interesting.
they made stuff together. They were like hammering out at tools with power tools. We've also had differently able people use the workshop. It was very cool. So there was a little ramp made, and there was I've forgotten the person's name, but he made something amazing, and it felt nice to be able to keep the space open so that people can come and make and do what matters to them. Whether it's
Wow.
hammering a nail or changing the world. I mean, it just depends on what they're
Wow.
looking to do.
Wow. That's a beautiful philosophy and concept. Yes. I think Binod KG says, "Sir, your thoughts are really great. Someone dream and you want to make it true." That's very true, Binod. That's very true. So we have got a question. How do you encourage creativity?
We facilitate it. We're a space. Creativity is something that's inside you. We have nothing to do with it. We're just a space where you can come and express that creativity. Use the space to build out things that you want, or to learn skills that you maybe need to develop. Because it's all a journey, and it's something that's up to the person. So, and as I said before, everybody's creative. Every single person is creative every single day of their life. You just have to be able to look in the right perspective to be able to spot what you can use it for. And then when you have that motive, as we were talking about earlier, you can probably have a concept. And then when you have a concept, you can always come to the workshop and build it out. If
Wow,
with what tools we
that's
have that are
interesting.
possible, with what tools we
Yes,
have that are make things possible. Otherwise, we can always
amazing.
put you in touch with other mentors or service providers who
Yes,
can help. Like, we don't have a metal CNC, it's too expensive for us. Like, we have another vendor who probably cuts out things in metal. We have a laser cutter which does acrylic and MDF and leather. So if you have products with that, you can do that. But if you wanted to integrate it with another product, we could put you in touch with that person. We're not an incubator. We don't work that way, and we hope that people can just build out ideas. Uh, as we said, make mistakes safely.
yes,
So we don't know what could come out of it, but we're not all saving the planet, and some of us just want to make something nice to put up on our walls, and we're very happy
amazing.
that people have the ability and space to do that.
Wow, amazing, interesting. So someone has asked, what other mediums would you like to explore? So from the ones which you have already explored, like wood, metal, leather, laser, cut off metals and everything, is there anything in your mind or anything where you're planning to explore next?
Yeah, we will be doing a little more digital work as well. We will be doing stuff, and maybe I would say a new reality. And we would be exploring multi-material as well. Once we open back up, which should be hopefully in the next 15 days, we should have word that we can open up, and we'll open up slowly. We keep the workshop numbers down. We've been doing some work with resin. We've been running some resin workshops, a little more electronics. We may launch a couple of toys, maybe. I don't know. We may
That's really
launch something, some
interesting.
really cute stuff. Because my girl's growing up, her name's Ariana Hope. And
How old is she?
we're getting together some little bits of robotics, some nice stuff that is.
Hello. Hello. I think, is it me? Am I, is it me who's, hello?
She's about 19 months now.
19 months. Oh, lovely. That's very, wow. I think she must be your inspiration, I'm sure. I think there is a network error again. So I think, as per what Craig said, that he's planning to.
Yeah, this is
Okay,
better.
you're
I
back
think
again. Yes.
my video just hung. I think, yeah. There was, I think, a glitch in the power or something, maybe.
No worries at all. Yes. Can you hear me? Can you?
Yeah, I can hear you. I hope I'm back up.
Yes, great. So yes, as you said that y'all are going to start, creating toys for kids, and y'all are exploring with digital as well as multi materials as well. So I would love to know more about that.
It's still in the works, so we should be releasing some cool new installations that we're working on in the next couple of months. So once it's ready, we're just starting. We're just getting go aheads for them, and we start putting out a few more designs. Trying to keep the roof up so people come for workshops, build out skills, do stuff. don't necessarily not buy from IKEA, but you can always build cool stuff. Because I love the story of we have a member. His name is Sayantan, and he's come for about 7 workshops at our space. Like he's done wood, he's done metal, he's done resin, and he's a chip designer. And he started building out his own furniture for his new flat. So he got married, and he came to us before he got married. He was a bachelor. He got married. The first thing he did when he came back to Bangalore was get his wife for a workshop, which we found was like, wow, that was a really cool story.
Wow.
And he's been building so much of furniture. I even wonder if he really works, somewhere else, because he's passionately building. I mean, he's transformed into a carpenter, and his work has moved up from amateur level work to fine joinery that he's doing right now, and he's integrating so many things into his ideas. And he's back home right now. When he comes back, but he's taking up another. So we have something called a box, which is a 70 square foot space with a mezzanine on top where you can make it your own little shop, so we rent that out as a monthly thing. And he's going to take up 2 boxes now because he has more furniture. And I think he's got an order as well. So we had another person come in, and in fact, his name is Karthik, and he'd come for a workshop. I think his wife is a designer. They do furniture for children. And he came for one of our woodworking workshops. Of course, they were great designers, and they've been doing work for some time. But then when he went back, he messaged me that he's been really at it, and he's bought lots more tools, and he set up a workshop at home. And they did so well. I mean, his wife was featured for the furniture pieces in Vogue. And we found that like a lovely story, that when you really put your heart to it, and you want to build and make and do what matters to you, whatever it is, it's a wonderful experience, not just for us, which is a great story for us to share, but it is why the workshop exists at its own reason. And there should be many more spaces. If we could, we'd open so many more spaces. But
I wish you all had opened one in Mumbai.
Maybe, but right now it's a different time. We're trying to keep this space open because it's shut right now. It's been shut. It's been. I hope everybody's staying safe, wearing masks, and doing what they need to do to keep the space safe around, and so that we can all open up back again, and and smile at people. Of course, at the workshop, you've always been wearing a mask because of the when people are working, the sawdust. We advise people to always wear a mask. Yes, exactly. Most of the time the workshop, they've always been the mask culture, and now it's kind of extended, and we hope people stay safe so that they can come. We've kept numbers down. We have like 2 or 3 people come in now for what would earlier be 15, just so that each person has their own table, and there's like good 10 feet. The workshop is like 3,000 square feet, so there's enough space.
Wow.
It's like a 6,000 square foot space with like coconut trees, and we have like large shed, and it's fun. When you come to Bangalore, I think you'll really like the space.
I'm so maybe you can do a large art to Bangalore very soon. I'm going to be visiting Bangalore in August. I'm really going to come. I'm surely going to come to the workshop. So Tilika says, wow, so amazing your initiative to fill those gap of industry. That's very true, Tilika. Then amazing space for anyone. I5 High Script says amazing space for anyone who wants to have that practical experience. Amazing. I think he's from Bangalore, and I'm sure that he's going to visit
follow us. Yes. Follow us, the workshop _BLR.
Yes. Tilika says, I would totally visit when in Bangalore. Hi, Maiki guy. She is amazing. She's an amazing floral artist, and her work has been featured in LA Decor magazine very recently. Brilliant. And she also works for them. So, yes. Then I5 High Scripts. I'm from Bengaluru. Never knew this amazing place. Thanks to God. Okay. So he is surely going to visit your place now. Yes.
Yay.
Ironic 88 asks, what are your thoughts on exploring setting up a blacksmithing or forging workshop?
We have been exploring that, but for that we need the forge, and we were looking at an electric forge. But right now, it's we need more people to come to use the things, so we can invest in it if we have a collective of people doing things on it, or else the machines and the tools need a lot of maintenance. So we have to keep maintaining them, and plus we need experts to work with them. So most of our workshops are run, some of them are run by our in-house people, and some of them are run by experts, and I would say they're masters of their craft, because it shouldn't be otherwise. And we encourage people to, if like we had pottery at a point, but we didn't have a wheel. So we could do things, and we've been asked about the furnace, and we've been thinking about glass blowing and more blacksmith, but we need to work those details out, because it might not be feasible right now for us to put something out where we have one user. In time, hopefully. So the more you'll use our space, the more we can invest in, because it's a cycle. So the more we are able to do, the more we can put back into the space. So we just kit it with better tools, better facilities, and hopefully people take home awesome memories and things that they make.
Wow, that's amazing. I am Naresh says, how does Craig come up with cool stuffs, always unique, out of the box thinking, new golden words of advice for beginners? Sorry, few golden words of advice for beginners. That's very true. I think it's very exciting for a lot of beginners as well as artists who have reached a level to even visit your workshop. It's very true.
For artists, I would say it's their workshop for them. For people who want to build out stuff, it's the tools they need. Some of them come with really specific needs. They're like, I'm looking for X, Y, Z, and we might have X and Y. We might not have Z. And for beginners, I would say be brave and just make mistakes safely and enjoy the journey.
True. So there's someone who's asked, are you planning on expanding the workshop? I think, as you said, that right now you're working in Bangalore as there's a lockdown, and I'm sure that one day you'll come to Bombay.
We would. Right now we try to deliver quality over quantity. So we've never looked at education or experience as something where we need to have hundreds of numbers to substantiate why the space is open. It's open for the one thing, for the one person. So even with that blacksmith, if we could afford to put that in, we would have done that. But it's a bit of investment and some expertise. So we need to maintain that well. So we wouldn't waste the tool. It has to be used. It shouldn't be left there. Like many engineering colleges have had maker spaces for the past 30 years. And we've had engineers come to us and say that, the last time I worked with something like this wasn't the one day I did workshop in my engineering college. And it feels that we could do so much better as a nation by just using the spaces the right way. So we want to keep it true to its nature.
True, amazing. That's quite unique and interesting. I think this space is going to work really well for me. The reason being that I am doing a lot of projects. My artworks basically have paintings as well as brass. So sometimes I cut brass myself. I'm working on a resort project over here in Lonavala, a little further from Lonavala, between Pune and Lonavala. And that's where I've been working on my brass cutting, and followed by my murals, which I work for few homes. So over there also somewhere where I add brass. So I'm surely going to utilize your space in the coming future once this wave ends.
Definitely.
Yes.
Give us a call for interior design or architecture. We can help build the houses that you design stuff in. That's what we do. So we do.
But besides, do that in other cities as well, apart from
Yes,
Bangalore?
absolutely. We've got projects running in Goa. We've got projects in Coorg. So yeah, we run a full-fledged architecture and interior design firm, and we are currently collaborating with some of the best artisans around to do some really, really cool furniture. So you can always we can connect after this, and everything that comes into our scope of work at the end starts to trickle down into the workshop, because we just got a laser cutter this year after 5 years. So we've been around 5 years, and we finally could afford a laser cutter, and that's thanks to the members coming in and people helping keep the space open.
Yes.
And now we hope more people can come and use the laser cutter. We'll be running some more workshops with that. So right from embroidery, doing something, engraving something on your leather jacket or your denim jacket,
yes,
to, cutting out cool flat pack stuff with MDF and innovating with that, and maybe even doing artwork, which is using a digital medium as interspacing your work. So it just depends on how many more projects we get. As you said, when do we take up a project? We take up a project when it seems like there's a scope for us to think happy every day.
Wow, that's a beautiful philosophy. Do you all also do interior styling?
Yes, absolutely. We do like end-to-end stuff. We can produce the whole thing. So yay, give us a ring and share some contacts. And
I'm going to be sharing one soon. So yes, that's quite interesting. That's very interesting. I'm in love with your philosophy and the niche which you all have with your space, which is hardly available anywhere. I think it's one of a kind in India, because whenever I try to search for such a space, at least in the outskirts of Mumbai, I can't find any of this. And especially with metal cutting and you having this niche that it is made for artists who have reached at an intermediate space for themselves and helping them out. That's a huge making things easier for them. Like, for an artist like me, it's the easiest thing available for me. But hopefully, if it was near my city, it would have been even more easier.
You can move to Bangalore. It's a nice space. We had a halo around the sun a couple of days back. I mean, you can't beat that.
Oh yes, the rainbow around.
I got a picture of it, so we're like, yay. But that said, the space for artists also, we've had a lot of artists collaborate with us and use the space to build out their ideas. Like in our first year, we had an artist, Trinajit, who was working out of the space, and he built out a tree which had the word love in all the Indian languages. I think he built it out for some community, and was a metal tree mounted. He also built a car for Olix made out of mobile phones. So it was a giant car made out of mobile phones. So, and then we've had other artists use the space to build out smaller stuff. We've had someone do resin casting, cement casting, do artifacts. Because there are so many spaces for startups, and if you have a product that you want to design and you have like loads of people waiting to help you with that idea and scale up and go to market, and sometimes you just want to come and make yourself a poster, and you don't want to sell it to anyone. You just want to take it back home and share it with your friends, or just not even share it. You just want to come and make something. And that's why the space exists. So of course we've had product designers use the space and build out stuff, but we've had a lot of artists, and we've had a lot of people who just came in because they wanted to spend time with themselves.
Wow. Interesting. I'm going to come with my husband for sure.
For sure.
So
for sure.
which are the artists you have worked for? Any renowned artists? I'm sure that you work with Shiloh Shiv Sulaiman. We know her.
We've had a couple. There was we didn't necessarily build for them, but they've used the space. So I've forgotten some of the names. There was another Instagrammer. She's also an artist. She came for a resin workshop. There were a couple of other people who built out smaller ideas. There was this the cane startup. I think they were called Rise Legs, which was a cane prosthetic startup. They built lots of art stuff. They built a whole exhibition which they ran in Bombay. Actually, they launched it in Bombay, and the workshop was full of cane and bamboo for 3 months. So they took up like 60% of the space because their installations were huge. Their furniture pieces were huge. They had like a chair which was 12 feet high and like really cool stuff. So, and we've had we've had younger artists also use the space. Like we've had school children come and use the space. So we don't like to just limit it to artists, because everybody like creativity is an artist. It just depends on whether you charge for your art,
True,
So
true. That's very true.
if you're charging for your art, then you're probably found a way to earn off that art. But till then,
True,
everybody who's just drawing a squiggle on a piece of paper is that a beginner artist at some level, maybe.
true, true. That's beautiful. And how did the person, I'm sorry, I'm curious, how did the person transport his installations or the bamboo work to Bombay?
Uh,
The trucks?
yeah, by trucks. It's like huge.
Okay.
So you manipulate how you put load up the truck, and you can really load a huge truck. And I think he sent maybe 2 trucks maybe to Bombay. So
Wow.
we've had, yeah, and we've also built a lot of our lungs. So we build for Jhatka, which is a non-profit, an NGO, and they work heavily with climate change and air pollution and other such matters. And we ran a campaign with them, which was a giant pair of lungs, which turned black. And it was in Bombay as well. It was outside National College in Bandra.
Wow.
Yeah, in fact, Milan Soman, Ravina Tandon, and a few other celebrities tweeted tweeted about the installation. We of course we don't claim credit for the work everywhere, because the work has to go out there. It's not like who's done it as important as the
Yes.
work needing to be out there and the message. So installations like that, we built like about 5 or 6 lungs, complete setups with these giant lungs and made of HEPA filters that turn black.
Wow.
And plus we've used the space ourselves as artists. We kind of ran Art Bangalore as well, and we built a giant thread art installation there, which was completely wired with L-wire. And it was huge letters, Art Bangalore. We did the front. So cool stuff. So we like
Wow.
to use the workshop ourselves a lot. And
Interesting.
that's one of the other reasons we have to keep it open, because we love using the space ourselves. It's our workshop, it's our office, and it's everybody's space as well. So you can come in. We just advise people to respect the tools and stay safe. Safety is a key to working, because everything's whirring. It's like high-powered tools.
True.
Yeah.
True. I think we are. It's already 12:30
Yeah.
now. We are going to be having 5 minutes. So I mean, I really wish I could speak more about your work and your space. And it's so intriguing. Like, I think lungs is connected to even COVID right now, and I think it's a huge message which you all have, made for them. For, I mean, I'm sorry, I forgot their name. An NGO, right?
Yeah,
For the
Jhatka.
NGO.
They do
Yes.
cool work. Yeah, they do cool work.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, though I could really wish to have you for longer and ask many more questions, which I'm intrigued about, but I think it's already 12:30. I think in 5 minutes this video is going to go off, so I'm going to continue.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Craig, it was amazing having you. It has been an honor for us to have you at our podcast at God of Onions,
Super.
and I mean, having your industry and knowing your industry, which is one of the niche in India, it's been an honor. And a lot of artists over here, I think y'all can really check out Craig's workshop, which is the workshop Bangalore. And if possible,
I would say it's Anna's as well, because the idea
Anna's
is hers. I'm just here taking the credit and talking right now, because she's with Ariana,
I
so
can, yes.
like otherwise
Maybe can we
one
stay
of us
her?
has to be with her, and otherwise she'll be here talking to y'all, going like giving you a lecture probably. So
Okay, all right. So I think it's been an honor, Craig and Anna, having y'all at my space at God of Onions, the workshop Bangalore. It has been amazing talking to you guys, and it's been a lot of information for a lot of upcoming, as well as the artists who have already set their foot. And I hope a lot of people get to know about you. And yes,
yeah.
so the next, yes. And I think the next interview we are going to be having it with the Art Lounge, which is who imports a lot of art materials such as brushes and such as paints, which are not easily available everywhere. So please stay tuned for my next podcast. And Craig, thank you so much. And thank you so much, Anna, for being a part of God of Onions.
Thanks, Hero. Yeah, wish you all the best and lovely, lovely conversation. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Craig. Thank you.
Yeah.